Isaiah Rodgers is the first player in NFL history with a pick six, a fumble return for a touchdown, and 2 forced fumbles in a single game. That's what you call having a Sunday. And boy, by God, did he have one. In fact, if you don't believe him, you can also check with Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus gave him the coveted highest score. I guess he's the highest Pro Football Focus score that you could ever have in history. Caroline Fenton, Jason Fitz on Yahoo Sports Daily, as he puts up a perfect 99.9. I have such an issue with this. How can a 99 Pro Football Focus, like, what are we doing? A perfect 10 is a perfect. There's a reason the phrase perfect 10 exists. Could you imagine if Mary Lou Retton in the Olympics comes flying through, lands, and then like, she gets a perfect 9.9? No, what are we doing, PFF?
Isaiah Rodgers wishes he was Mary Lou Retton.
Who doesn't wish they were Mary Lou Retton? 99.9? Make it 100. How can a perfect score be a 9? Like, we need to have Pro Football Focus on this show to justify why a perfect score would be anything less than 100. Isaiah Rodgers, by the way, deserves that. Cincy has got to be at this point just recoiling after watching I don't know what was worse. Adam Schefter try and put out bad stats about Jake Browning. I kept calling him Jack, or Jake Browning's actual performance. The Bengals were just horrific yesterday, and the Vikings, you say play with their food. The Vikings were like a lion playing with the little thing it was about to eat. It was just, Browning was awful. The Vikings toyed them 48-10, and the score wasn't even indicative of how bad it was.
I don't know if Joe Burrow's ever felt, vulnerable about his job security. He sure as heck isn't after last night or yesterday. Ouch. Ew. Gross. Bad day from Jake Browning. I mean, no disrespect to Isaiah Rodgers in the slightest, because he had himself a game yesterday, a career kind of game, a game that he will get to tell his kids and his grandchildren about for the rest of time. But like, how many average fans would be able to pick Isaiah Rodgers out of a lineup before yesterday? That was Jake Browning, frankly. Like, that was how bad Jake Browning was yesterday. Again, no disrespect to Isaiah Rodgers. I think yesterday was all I really needed to see to say, okay, if the Bengals truly want to be a competitor, if they want to keep their heads above water until Joe Burrow comes back from the turf toe surgery, you have to go find a better option at quarterback. You do. And look, I said going into this game that Jake Browning probably is a higher quality backup. And is Jake Browning significantly better than, other options that you might have out there in the quarterback market? No. But maybe he can be there to, pick up the pieces. I think we're seeing the gap between Joe Burrow and Jake Browning, obviously, is incredibly wide. And while Jake Browning can maybe win you a game or two here and there, he cannot keep your head above water for the greater part of 3 months. So I think that now is the time. If it's Kirk Cousins, if it's Jameis Winston, any of these other more reliable veterans that won't turn the ball over like the clip that Jake Browning did yesterday. I mean, Jake Browning's stat line yesterday, 19 of 27, 140 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and they added on a couple more turnovers on that. Like, I think that Jameis and Kirk Cousins can win you games and be much cleaner than what we saw from Jake Browning yesterday. I know it was one game, I get it. But if that's what we have, that's the peek behind the curtain of the 2025 iteration of Jake Browning, I can't live through 3 more months of this, Fitzy. And neither can the Bengals. Neither should the Bengals.
One of my favorite isms from my mom was people in hell want ice water. The Bengals organization wants a different quarterback. So, I strongly believe that Jameis Winston is not available by trade. And I strongly believe that Jameis Winston will not be available by trade. And I believe yesterday was a perfect indication of why there is nothing anyone can or will offer for Kirk Cousins that gets him out of Atlanta. I think you're right. They need a better option. But where they needed a better option was this summer when they were figuring out what to do. And Jake Browning is somebody that's been in this system for a minute. He's had a little bit of success. They were obviously comfortable with him. Maybe this was a 1-week aberration. But at this point, just because they absolutely want a different quarterback, I don't think that they have a different quarterback available. I think, unfortunately, Bengals fans, I'm just here, no emotion to it. I'm just here to be a beacon of truth on this Monday. I would just tell you, you're screwed. There's the beacon of truth. Let's keep the beacon of truth going in the AFC North. Pittsburgh gets a road win, all right, over the Patriots, and this was an ugly football game. So now we've got Pittsburgh sitting at 2-1. They get the ugly win over to New England. Like, where are you on the Steelers?
Congratulations. You got an ugly win over a second-year quarterback and a head coach in his first year in New England. Congratulations. Like, do you want a cookie? Do you want to take a bow, Pittsburgh? This is the Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. We don't get to throw victory parades for wins over the Patriots. You got to win. You do what you're supposed to do. Ugly wins in the NFL count the exact same as dominant wins in the NFL. There are no extra points for a little razzle-dazzle and a little pizzazz. So you did what you needed to do. But also, doesn't this Steelers team have higher expectations than beating the Patriots? No disrespect to the Patriots.
Hold on. Let me go full disrespect. Let me go full disrespect to the Patriots here, because I live in New England Patriot country. I have no choice. I love watching the games out on Sundays because it's a good way to see everything at once. Patriots are on everywhere. The audio's on everywhere. I cannot escape the New England Patriots. I watched my beloved Raiders take on the Patriots week 1, and when they won that game, I said at the time, to be very consistent, who cares? You beat the Patriots. The Patriots are not a good football team. What have we seen since then? The Raiders haven't looked particularly good, even though some people thought maybe week 1 was a sign of something. I will take that same truth with the Steelers. They struggled in so many ways against what I think is a pretty pathetic New England Patriots team this year. The Patriots over the course of the year will get better under Mike Vrabel. That's the way this process is going to work. Drake May is going to get better when he has a better understanding of Josh McDaniels' offense, which is why I've been consistent also in saying the best time to play the Patriots is early in the year. But think about how we came into this year. I came into this year expecting the Steelers to go on a run early because their schedule looks easy early, and then when they hit the meat of it, the wheels fall off. What have we seen instead? Pittsburgh has struggled this is why we cannot just look at the standings as some indication of something. Like, Aaron Rodgers had a nice throw in that game, and then Aaron Rodgers had an overall game. The Steelers on offense look in every possible way. Like, if we're being honest about the Steelers, the best case set right now is that they look mid. That's it. And I walked away from this win saying, damn, I had better expectations. I thought the Steelers were better than struggling to beat the Patriots. They should have gone in and handled New England. And at times, their defensive line certainly handled Drake May. Drake May was running for his life throughout the course of this thing. And it was still a game that came down to the fourth quarter. Stupid mistakes are really the reason that the Patriots lost this football game. And again, I will double down on it. The Patriots stink. So to me, the Steelers getting this win, I got to go to the eye test and say, I don't really care. You did not look great. You won by 1 score on a game where the Patriots, as you see there, had 5 turnovers. Caroline, I am less confident today in the Pittsburgh Steelers than I was 5 days ago because of the way they looked in that win.
I think it's fair. But I don't think, if we want to go back to the binary results conversation that we had about Aaron Rodgers last week when he was talking to the media and he said, I don't get so caught up in the binary results that we're so obsessed with in football, meaning wins and losses. Let's look outside of the binary result because, again, you won, right? I hear Steelers fans saying, why are you so mad? We won the football game. I say the Patriots lost that game more than the Steelers won it. So if we want to talk about, stepping outside of binary results, the Steelers did not play winning football. The Patriots just played losing football. So if we want to talk about the Steelers and their expectations and what they expected when they brought in Aaron Rodgers and they did all that shuffling in free agency, I didn't think it was very smart shuffling, but it was shuffling nonetheless. The Steelers went into the season saying, we're a playoff team. Not only do we want to be a playoff team, we want to win a playoff game. It's about time. We're overdue. That didn't look like a team that could win a playoff game.
No, the fan base can't keep telling me that they want to see Tomlin win playoff games and then be okay with that sort of a regular season when the two things do not stack up.